Okay, 1:10 a.m. Good time to hit record. I have I'd say about 7 or 8 minutes at the end of my last video that I forgot to unmute. I hit mute. My dad started coughing. Yeah, COPD. Sometimes I'll just try to mute the sound on my microphone. And then I just left it muted. I also feel bad muting it. I think I talked about this already. That I feel bad muting it. Like I don't know what to do. That's the problem. I don't know what to do. But I was kind of looking through what I talked about in my last two recordings to get caught back up on what just happened. The day's been a bit of a blur. Preparing for a hurricane, which seems like it's not really updated all that frequently. Like I've been watching it. If this is Tampa, that would be nice. Is that Tampa? Oh shoot. Oh, we might be okay, according to that. Better than I was looking. Here, sorry other people. I don't know. That'd be cool, just as long as it's not too cool. I definitely am looking forward to it a little bit in a weird way, and I hope it's not in a bad way. Like, I don't want it to be bad. I just want it to be good enough. uh, Salt, though. This is why I hit record, because I was kind of like, well, I wonder if there's other alchemical symbols. Because I do like the idea that, say, sodium exists as like a half of a whole. Sodium. Is it always found with chlorine? It's literally always found with chlorine, pretty much, or some other similar. It's not like Na2. Carbonate. I'm just trying to think. Because I essentially, am, in my mind, I'm physically picturing the Earth having continents that have polygons, shapes, bound to one another, where the polygons bound to one another have a sort of binding line that splits the single landmass in two. But it's kind of like Earth, where it's not necessarily visible. But if energies were to propagate through the system, they would propagate through the channel between the two and sever their bond while maintaining the rest of, like, the sodium whole, like the continents remaining whole to a degree. Earth isn't the best example of just a simple two systems: sodium chloride, chlorine. Interesting. Salt pepper is an upward downward one. I'm not sure. Or saltpeter, actually. Pepper. What is saltpeter? Why do I keep saying? I would literally put pepper. Nitrate. Potassium nitrate. Sodium nitrate. Oh. Food preservative and additive for fertilizer, oxidizer for fireworks and rockets. Oh my god. The thoughts that are just kind of passing through my mind looking at this. Food preservative and additive. Just from an alchemical standpoint, and thinking of the earth dividing into, like, why would this preserve food? Kind of thing. Like, I don't know. But, and yet, I really do like the idea that the earth, like the sodium chloride, the reason it's so stable is it just binds into a single cohesive unit like the earth very well. Like their shapes match well. And sizes, shapes and sizes. Oh, and then copper. Oh my god. So then, like a metal, could a metal be a core that then fills with a basically a shell that has connection points to the metal itself, but where the metal is the core of the system, of the molecule, or whatever. I'm a chemical engineer. I don't fucking a molecule or whatever. What the fuck, man? I swear. Hey, my people who went to school with me know. I'll annihilate your beer. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah, we're about to graduate. That happened. I know. It's an accident. Accidents happen, guys. Okay, okay. And here I mean, sure, accident happened, but they also are maybe representative of things going on underneath the surface that are maybe valid in some ways. Like that, I would say molecule or something. I don't even think about chemistry since I graduated. Not certainly not like that. Any of that. Any of it. Sad truth. But that's okay. This is interesting. It's almost like the copper acetate, but without a shell. Like there's no systems that don't have a shell. Mars and Venus make me think of the tabs. The tabs Also these tabs, but not those tabs. Dear God, save me from the tabs. Let's just close. I guess on Twitter recommended I check out the Parashurama. I'll have to get back to that in a bit. Also, I saw Iceland about 20 million years ago, meaning it formed after the Earth stopped expanding. Let me go on. Meaning that the energy flows that were propagating northward through the so essentially perhaps from Dwarka through to maybe I should pull up a map and stop. Oh frick. Close the thing. Let's just get another tab open. Another tab with tabs. Let's see the tabs. Let's see the tabs. Oh, sorry, Mercury. Or this. And this. Like Mars and Venus. Maybe. Just a thought, pardon me. I'm really liking this. This totally makes sense to me. Alchemy, symbols. That there's something to it, that is. And maybe these types of symbols also share similar qualities, but they don't form stable, cohesive units like sodium and chloride do. Chlorine. Let's see what just like a basic one has. Gold. That's top. This isn't. This is not descriptive enough. It doesn't have the exact. It's kind of filled in. Like what's gold here? That's not the same at all. Whoa. It's a shape, dudes. I won't say anything more. Moon. See, that sun is gold there. That's kind of odd. Or maybe opposite of Earth. Also thinking, could this have something like Earth here? Could this have another plane? So it really has 6, not just 4, but also inward and outward. And it's a sphere. And therefore Earth maybe has like 8 kind of like, at least normal Earth. Pre-expansion Earth. Now it may not be so balanced. This is interesting. Fire is an upward penetrating, water is a downward penetrating. Salt. maybe other forms of salt, less than other than the more basic types. I don't know what to make of mercury. From this analysis, I'm trying to basically view it from this angle and see if it makes sense more. Where I'm kind of like, okay, salt, by using that as a entry point into the symbols, where we say, okay, salt is the equivalent of a a planet composed of two halves that are conjoined by bonds that, if they were to be broken apart, and we could look at the edges of those two halves, like we can look at the edges of the continental shelf of Earth, we would see craters where the bonds broke. And so, from that entry point, maybe we can make some sense of things. Water penetrating across some sort of boundary equals Earth. I mean, I know they're not the same, but they are the same. So I'm not sure. Water penetrating across some sort of boundary equals Earth. Fire across that same boundary. In the past, I've looked at these as the equilibrium, so fire and water. I think of maybe as like mercury and sulfur, wherever sulfur is, which are like the two main components of alchemy, I believe. One being the subtle energy, mercury, and sulfur being the dense energy. One is like an upwelling, the other is a downwelling, downward pressure. And then those two meet at an exact balance point, which I believe to be this representative of this. And that's why they use these arrows in a line, because it's just crossing the center so that it is penetrating either from above or from above down into, or from below up into. And somehow that transforms things. So I guess by let's just think about this. If fire penetrates the, let's say maybe the barrier, let's think of it in salt. How do we, I don't know. I guess just the activation energy to break the bond practically. Some energy. I don't know if it's called activation energy even. Same thing. Same thing. It might be. This has a lot of them. They're also not the same. But back to what I was kind of thinking before I. That's interesting. That's a gemstone. That might be a useful entry point. There's sulfur, which is the fire, which is kind of weird that it would have that in some way. It would certainly benefit if I started to read some articles about these symbols to see what they said. Maybe there is something to that. I really think salt, like I can almost visually see a planet like kind of being like that. And maybe it separates into the northern southern hemisphere, or it separates into just simply up down so that it's not northern southern hemispheres. It's like each are in each. Maybe that's why this one goes this way, and that the reason it separates in this way versus the reason this separates in this way is related to some fundamental process to whether the energy flows in a sideway direction or an up down direction. There's a lot of symbols. Vinegar. Can I see this large, please? S'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît. They even got a video. BO4 zombies, what all the symbols mean. That's probably a good video to check out right now. But let me just look at them. Okay, that was enough.
Hey guys, I'm going to be doing a more in-depth breakdown of the 9 Black Ops 4 Zombies trailer. I'm going to be covering stuff like the alchemy that we see throughout the scenes, show you some other cool stuff that raises some questions, and then trying to find out like who are some of these people. For example, the female voice that we hear in the opening of the trailer, she tells them you're travelers and that they need to listen to her warnings, and then she tells them to inhale the alchemy potion so that they can travel through space and time. And here's a really short clip of her speaking to the characters.
Let yourself fall through the ages, through time and space itself, and pray for your safe return.
Okay, so who is this lady? Obviously, we're not going to know yet, but is she going to take on some kind of role that Dr. Monty did? Obviously, she knows how to use alchemy and is telling them what to do, so maybe form people into the dead and create a dead army like you see in the trailer. So after...
Oh my, it's just straight video game, and yet it's straight alchemy, I wonder. That would be so cool. I mean, I see saltpeter. That's pretty good. Although they could just have looked at a list and that's about it. This doesn't look like it has any like clues necessarily, although maybe. Just kind of looks like someone wants to throw symbols around. Okay, here we go. We might actually...
applying them in this game is not realistic. To better explain it, here is a message from a real alchemist. I showed him some of the symbols and he said there are a lot of alchemy symbols used, but it doesn't really say anything. Kind of just looks like someone wants to throw some symbols around. I went ahead and researched all of the symbols to see if there was anything that I could find, and there's just nothing. This took a really long time to do, but it doesn't really tell you anything. It just seems like they were like, well, this symbol looks cool and that means dead. Yeah, throw it on there. And just in case there's a slight chance that I'm wrong and there is some deeper meaning, I did want to go ahead and get this all charted out for future reference. But I'm feeling like this is going to be like the Apothicon language, where we spend a lot of time on it and it never meant anything. For example, the Shadow Man also wears clothing with the language on it, and it is lined on his jacket. All charted out, so nothing, super exciting there, nothing really new. And here is...
Oh my god. Holy shit. Magnesium. Damn, this person got all sorts of detail. Holy shit. Yttrium. Like, how can you even begin to see that enough to tell that means night? I guess if you got a list and you're just kind of looking. I don't know. Okay, this is not as exciting as I was hoping. Pardon me. wasn't actually an alchemy symbol video at all, is why. I mean, it was, but it wasn't. Okay, okay, let's get back. Platinum. Iron. That's not what I was thinking of. Isn't that the Venus symbol? Some of these are so not this like they're not repetitive. They're not the same. They're not getting from the same database. This guy's had a basketball. Or whatever ball you want to call it, I don't know. Creation. Okay. Whoa. Weird. It's like people come up with their own way to write it. Let's just find a YouTube video. Alchemy symbol. Sure, why not? I wonder what that was. Okay. Pardon me. Minute and a half. Let's see. Let's just get it. Philosopher's Stone is the symbol and the legendary substance in alchemy that can turn base metals into silver or gold through the processes of chrysopoeia or argyropia. Alright, there's those words. Philosopher's Stone, circle, triangle, square, circle, triangle, square, circle, maybe? Mount Grenard's got kind of a triangular peak. The Monzonite diorite? I'm not sure if I can remember. Some of them are R's, some are N's, some are L's. It's kind of like, dudes. There's probably a purpose that I don't actually know why, and it's probably related to like the chemistry or something. Fire is represented by an upward triangle in alchemy and is associated with masculinity and fiery emotions like anger and love. Doesn't explain it. But the penetrating down. It makes me think of volcanoes because water penetrates down, and what does it do then? Oh, it's below the equilibrium. Hey, water, what are you doing down there? Oh, well, I kind of want it up here, up here. Can I be up here again? Fucking boom, volcano. Or New Earth. And integral to the process is what I'm thinking. Is water. Because of its capacity to penetrate into beyond the equilibrium and enter in to the lower layers where it then wants to rise and can create this convection below the equilibrium between water and fire, an upward energy. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that's pretty related. Well, now, so fire penetrates out of the earth, and with it brings molecules like air, maybe. I mean, that kind of makes sense. Fire, heat, it causes gases to rise, in essence, in a way. Expand to rise. But then they pass that again, that equilibrium, and they want to fall too. So that again, same thing, convection down here because of water in the earth, convection up here because of fire in the air. That makes sense. Moving the air around because of that subtle energy of the fire penetrating upward. Heat. Two different symbols. This is the fire symbol. Cross with that has arms of equal length. This is the satanic cross. Alright. Doesn't even make sense. It's fucking alchemical symbol for sulfur, dudes. You try saying it's a slash satanic cross. Maybe I'm just a little bitter. In case people hate me and think I'm Satan. And in case I am Satan. Fuck, I don't know, man. Never know. I don't know what the future holds uncovering this shit. It's fucking Pandora's box unopened. Ain't no putting that shit back in the... Oh, it looks like time to shut down the internet. Our only solution is to burn the internet down to the ground. This fucking dumbass had to go and spill the beans. Anyway, pardon me. Side note. Infinity symbol. Patriarchal cross. I was thinking before I move on from here, equal length, mind you, so that I minded, since they said equal length, mind you, I minded. So I was like, what would make a cross? First of all, immediately, cross, mind you, also. I think of a cross, and I immediately think of an Einstein cross. And this is going to be a good example, because check it out. Maybe we can see if there's something like this. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, but they're not. Here's even better. They're not necessarily the same size. Where an Einstein cross, for anyone who doesn't know, is formed by an intermediary object between the source and the viewer that causes gravitational lensing to then produce an image of 4 of the objects. So for this, when it's has same sides, mind you, I think therefore there's not only a foreground object, but a background object that overlaps it in some way, and that's just a thought that comes to mind when looking at this, where it has the same length. Whereas if it were to have different lengths, then it would mean or be suggestive of some imbalance in the positioning of the two that might be part of what's going on, leading to and why they would be like, okay, we want to make sure these sides are different lengths. But in this case, they don't. Here, though, I gotta Google this because it has an infinity symbol. It's a double cross. The double cross symbolizes protection and balance between persons. Okay, this may have been used as a mockery of the cross. Okay, someone used it in the Satanic Bible. When was this written? 1969. It gets to get associated with as the cross of Satan, to the point where now, henceforth, anytime someone looks at this, they gotta read about how it's also sometimes referred to as the cross of Satan, because this dude wrote this. Damn. Alright, pardon me. I hope he's right then. I hope they're right that there's like a tie between them. I mean, anyway, and it's not just a mockery of the cross. Like, if that's the whole reason, that's just kind of just not feeling it, you know. To show that humans are their own centrum of balance and truth. This is what the ideology of the followers of the Church of Satan believe. And this is what the symbol represents in this association. Oh my God. In alchemy, thank you for fucking... What am I reading? Symbolism fandom. Notice how I don't pay attention to what I'm the source. I look at the information. Totally different way of doing things than how we operate. Oh my god. Maybe people do normally, but like when it comes to their jobs of their like expertise, you know, this ain't cutting the like things that are allowed to be referenced in any way. Oh, yeah, I looked at this website. How dare you? Okay, anyway, upside down cross, upside down. Okay, let's get past that completely. That's all I got to say. Wait, in Asia, its name is a brimstone symbol. A symbol of depth and surfacing. The multiple crossroads of two crosses can be interpreted as a sign of free choice. It can also be seen as a stroke through equal to show that every person has their own life. Spiritually analogous to the human soul. Alchemically, sulfur has the qualities of masculine, hot, and dry. Combined with mercury, feminine, cool, and moist. Okay, so sulfur, maybe I got it backwards. Is mercury dense and sulfur subtle? Oh dear God, this fucking... Maybe if I turn it off on the website and... like... All substances created and existent within the universe, regardless of their degree of mental subtlety, or material density. Degree of mental subtlety or material density. That's interesting. Are composed of the three essentials of the alchemist. With a correct knowledge of the art, one can open the matter up so that the three essential are expressed in material form. Three essentials? A lot has been written about the three essentials of the alchemist, yet it seems to me that the opaque mist that envelopes these three essentials is just as thick today as it has ever been. Undoubtedly, this is partly due to many alchemists, myself included, as you will see, describing the three by use of symbolism and allegory. It's a very difficult thing to try and explain that which transcends words and is known to one more by feeling than thought. Also, one must not let oneself become seduced with the apparent ease of being told that the three are this or that one thing. This, above all, seems to me to lock or trap the mind into a certain mode of thinking, which is why I suppose the old ones wrote in such vague terms. Or they just didn't understand well enough. Or they learned to not share the information with people, or fucking abusing it. When it became obvious how abusable it was, and this things that people woke up, basically. Maybe they realized that it really does maybe take someone punishing them to be punished. So if people like choose not to, they can just do what the fuck they want and really get away with it until, you know, shit has to change. Well, looks like we're back at this thing where we gotta live through this struggle again, because, well, time's up. It is without exaggeration extremely difficult for the beginning alchemist to form a concrete plastic picture of these three forces. Okay, let's move on. The symbol of Mercury is the cosmic womb being incubated by the cross of the four elements of creation. Rising up out of the womb is a partial form whose features are not yet determined. Okay, that's what I was thinking. That's really interesting then, that their symbols are backwards. It's rising up out of the womb, and yet it uses the downward symbol. Sulfur uses upward. So it's like it's a completed form in essence. It's a completion of the four elements of to me, that means it's basically like the seed, like they're saying, like the seed in essence. It's like infinity, but like the seed infinity that it contains. It's a microcosm of the macrocosm that truly contains the four elements: fire, air, water, and earth, in a cohesive, complete manner, so as to like tie it off and become these merge into the next layers, like single Mercury, subtle Mercury. Because to me, Mercury is essentially like subtle. It almost has to be ether equivalent, practically, where ether is just a full gradient of subtle particles that are so subtle that they essentially cause heat and gravity. Magnetic fields are made of them. For alchemists the world over, this substance is the liquid in the Holy Grail. It is the liquid in the Holy Grail. It is said that without this substance, no alchemical work can begin or be brought to its perfect end. Generally, this statement is thought to concern only the works in the mineral world. Yet experience has taught that this statement holds true for the works on plants and animals. Anyone who has done some reading in alchemy will realize that exact instructions on how to acquire or prepare the philosopher's mercury is never given. The best one can hope for is to be able to string together the bits of clues left to use by erstwhile adepts. Adding to the puzzle is the fact that the alchemists have described their mercury using all manner of names and physical characteristics. In the lexicon of alchemy, one can find legions of names to describe the philosopher's mercury. Some of these are celestial water, aqua vitae, water of chaos, water of the wise, dew of May, alkahest, honey, vinegar, azoth. This first principle is a mere vapor extracted from the elementary earth through the heavenly planets, and as it were, divided by the sidereal distillation of the macrocosmos. This sidereal hot, I don't even know what that means. Distant stars. Nah. Divided by the distant star distillation of the macrocosm. Yes, that makes sense. Distant stars, like things that are at exact 90-degree angles so that they descend from on high into things which are below. So this first principle is a mere vapor extracted from the elementary earth through the heavenly planets and, as it were, divided by the distant stars distillation of the macrocosmos. This distant star hot infusion, that's how I'm going to read that, I guess, descends from on high into things which are below. Philosophers frequently describe this matter. Sendivogius calls it heavenly water, not vulgar, but almost like rainwater. Heavenly water. Not vulgar, but almost like rainwater. So like a mist. A subtle mist that's like able to saturate without drowning. Hermes calls it a bird without wings, figuring thereby its vaporous nature. It is well described. Calls it a bird without wings. That makes me think of how birds, when you go near them, they are very likely to fly away. Like dependent on the animal's capacity to get away and ease of getting away. And like birds, they literally, they practically, they see me and they fly away. It doesn't even matter if I'm 30 feet away. They don't care. They go somewhere else. Because they're so loosely bound to the ground and to their surroundings that they just fly off at the gentlest breeze, at the gentlest push. So that's kind of what that makes me think of when he says not just a bird without wings, such as something that can fly, but something that can easily be like encouraged in a direction, herded, maybe even if intended to be. Like birds, maybe birds are not the best example of something that can be herded from the ground, but maybe if it just moves by motions, it can be moved in ways. Since we're talking about alchemy, that gets into the Philosopher's Stone and all its potentials that alchemy has, even though I was really just looking at this with relationship to salt being like the earth divided in half. Seeing if that leads to anything. When he calls the sun its father and the moon its mother, he signifies that it is produced by action of heat upon moisture. Like a mist, causing a mist. Yes. Like a subtle mist. Not even necessarily, like if you heat water, not you aren't gonna necessarily see it boiling off. But even if you keep it below boiling, but heat it for a long time, it's gonna slowly evaporate to it. And where's it going? Maybe it's turning into this like this mist. I don't know what that would have to do with the calls it the sun its father, the moon its mother. I'm not sure if I fully agree, though, that by calling the sun its father and the moon its mother, he signifies that it is produced by the action of heat upon moisture. Like maybe that can be also incorporated into it and interpreted from it and is part of it, but I'm not sure that's like the crux of what's signified there. He says the wind carries it in its belly. He only means that the air is its receptacle. When he affirms that which is inferior is like that which is superior, he teaches that the same vapor on the surface of the earth furnishes the matter of rain and dew wherewith all things are nourished in the vegetable, animal, and mineral kingdoms. Mineral kingdoms, I'd love to hear that. Not just vegetable, animal, mineral. Alive kind of thing. This is now what the philosophers call their Mercury, and affirm it to be found in all things as it is in fact. Oh, it's DMT. Oh my god, that would be nuts. It's oh. I gotta look. Mercury. Where's Mercury? Mercury. I mean, it's not the worst. It could be significantly different than that. It's at least like the same general size-ish kind of thing here. I'm not sure, like the center one being like this, and then the half complete one, some reason being maybe this. Even though it's kind of outward, with the cross thing being maybe that plus that, or just that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, two, three, 4, 5. I mean, it's possible that this is kind of 5 attached to a circle at a 6th point. It's not like the worst. What is there DMT in rock? That would be insane. DMT found in rocks. Oh, it'd probably help if I said DMT. I guess it would have to be a living, it would be pretty much a living organism for us to find DMT in it. Pardon me to even consider that. And continue to, honestly. I'm gonna look a little more to see if there's more ways to see it. Whoa. It's like a specific DMT structure. That's the exact one. Okay. With that in mind. Synthetic. Oh dear God. Doing studies. I'm confused. Isn't there a book? What is that other guy that researched DMT? It's not him. Although this is interesting. It's like DMC researcher Joe Rogan. He was on Joe Rogan. Rick Strassman, that's it. The spirit molecule. He said the God molecule. I did 5-MeO DMT once, and it felt like energy was flowing through my body in ways I could not. Literally just outside of my body. Physically felt, no doubt about it. I felt it like it was a video game. Straight up had some fucking flows. Maybe it is the God molecule. I've never seen it again. It doesn't sound very common, we'll say. That's interesting. Death and life are equal opposite symbols. It's almost like a keyhole too, like turning the key. See, sun, moon. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop recording now. I don't know if I did much, I just pretty much looked into this. Little tangent, let's say. Maybe I should look around. What was I doing? Maybe I could find some cool stuff in the meantime. Anything up here that's cool I had not noticed yet? I would like to know if there's some significance to this region here, because I do believe it appears to be like the heart of this hexagon. Wonder. Gulf of Ob. Gulf of Ob. Let's start there. Maybe geology. Sure. Hydrocarbons. That's another thing. They seem to be related to Earth expansion process. They're probably a lubricant. I just realized. To the Earth's mechanics. Like they're literally a lubricant to the engine. That, you know how our engines have lubricants? Yeah, dude, so concerning to think that it might be like that important and not just a fossil fuel. Oh my god. There's gotta be a better thing to search in that region than the freaking Gulf of Ob. Let's see. Get these back. I mean, what the frick? Like, this is crazy. So maybe this is the center. It could be a little off center. Mount Grenard center is not centered. It's not at the. It's kind of off center towards the north. I don't know what I could see by looking in this close, honestly. At this stage. Besides just cool stuff. Like I need to find somewhere to look. That's kind of... Okay, let's get that out of here again. Like this is kind of pronounced. Okay, that's part of this. And its pronouncement seems to give some sort of importance to this region. I'm just gonna look real quick. Let's see, what do we got? Like, does anything look like that? It looks kind of like a little star, 5-pointed star maybe, or something. It'd be cool to find some of these symbols just sitting on the ground and printed. It's like, oh. I think there's some gold here. See the symbol? It's like real specific symbol. That's what I was kind of looking at. Is this a gold symbol? That looks like a so-called crater. And it looks like it's also kind of related to these things. Maybe. Whoa. I don't know. Looking for any... What the... That's weird. Wonder if there's anything cool. I don't think the problem with these maps is it's hard to see up here. This might actually have it. Okay, I think we're okay. We're okay. So that's there. It's pretty much exactly where was kind of curious at looking, so that's good. Nothing sticking out crazy, anomalous. Nothing anomalous, especially in that is. I realize some people could see things that are interesting that I don't pick up on when I'm doing things like this. Like, dude, it's like, watching the movie. Like, dude, come on, he's not saying. Oh, what the fuck is that? He's not even gonna say anything. Yeah. Sorry, dudes. I guess you gotta say it. What was I gonna look at? Topography map. Maybe Russia even. Why not? Let's see. Maybe just one of these even. See what they look like. If they got a good one. With detail enough. This doesn't seem like it could possibly compare though. None of these could probably compare to a legitimately able to be zoomed in on map. Like one of these, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That really captures that side of the thing there. There. Something going on there. I think that, yeah, that goes over to that Texas looking shape. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's the crater. So that means this hexagon maybe is here. I think it's there. The other one. And this one. And then there's one here. Wait. I think that's what that is. There. Oops. Which is interesting. So it's got 1, 2. So like these lines go up this way. These ones kind of go here, but the further up we go, the more they start to merge more with this direction. This one's real straight across. I don't know if then we kind of hit this, I guess, this big old plane, and it maybe this is all its own thing here. But that seems to be within the hexagon. Maybe there's 2 systems here. But hey, gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Just fucking fall asleep. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if we can get some detail. This is real flat. Not much detail. Maybe if I go off of the... Just pothole. It looks like a big old porous material. Maybe I should do this. Where's that hexagon bottom? There's that one. There's that one. I assume that's the other one. Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. Maybe here, here. Oh yeah. The more high elevation I show, the harder it is to differentiate the lower elevations. But it needs it kind of to get contrast. I wish this would be more. Maybe I could like if I could click this and make it focus like a camera or something, because it's kind of just separates out the important stuff sometimes. That's pretty useless. Relatively, except for to see, it does have a pretty well defined here, and then maybe even there. Is that relevant? Just to the west of this thing, like here-ish. No, that's only relevant to that, not to this. Although it may be that I definitely simplify what's going on. Here's a big hexagon. It may be that there's multiple shapes here that are merged, and that's why this one kind of just stops, it seems, and then this is here. I don't know. Maybe it only goes over here. It goes up here and then over. And that's why these are here, because these are kind of high to have lines pointing in this flow. Okay, I'm definitely out of here. I'll be back sometime before or after this hurricane. Not sure. Hopefully tomorrow, but I might be better off not. Peace out.